6 minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour, officially welcoming you to the Big Hard Facts 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're broadcasting live from our audio-visual studios right here in Maryann Okon, Victoria Island, Lagos. I did promise that we were going to be looking deeper into the Labour Party crisis, and I did tell you that we were going to be joined by the special advisor to the governor of Abia State, Governor Alex Otti, on media and publicity. Yes, I got it right. Mr. Ferdinand Ekeoma is joining us live via Zoom. Before I introduce him, let me just give you some background as to what's been happening in the Labour Party as we dive into very critical issues that are on ground. At the heart of this matter, for those of you who do not know, is a power struggle of sorts between the faction led by Julius Abure, who says that he's recently been recognized by a court order from the appeal court ruling, and a counter faction that's backed by the prominent figure Peter Obi and, of course, Governor Alex Otti. From convention controversies, INEC recognition battles to accusations of betrayed and anti-party activities, this is a crisis that many Nigerians have queried if it is actually far from over or it is getting close to being over. Anyway, my guest is going to be giving us some background into their perspective, where they stand, because most recently, the Abure-led faction has called for the suspension and the removal of Governor Alex Otti from the Labour Party. My guest is Ferdinand Ekeoma. He is actually the special advisor to Governor Otti on media and publicity. Mr. Ekeoma, thank you so much for joining us. I know I've been on your matter all day. I didn't want you to miss this interview. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I think you're muted, so we can't hear you. You are muted.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, lovely. And if I did not pronounce your name very well, pardon me.
No, not a problem at all. I will teach you how to pronounce it better next time.
Lovely. Let's go straight into the conversation. The Labour Party, before the 2023 elections, garnered sympathy, love, got a lot of people following them and paying attention to, their presidential candidate and what he had to offer, and by proxy, several other people who ran on that platform got the same kind of love and attention. But it's heartbreaking that just right after that election, now we're in 2025, the Labour Party seems to be facing several cracks from within the party. So let's start with this issue of legitimacy of leadership. The Abure-led National Working Committee held a convention in Nnewi in March 2024, which was later validated by a court of appeal in January of 2025. Given this judicial affirmation, I know it's arguable, how does the OT-led faction justify the establishment of a separate caretaker committee? Because that is one of the contentions right now.
Thank you once again very much. To understand the issue, one really needs to get to the foundation. Abure, as the national chairman of the party, of the Labour Party, was elected for a tenure of 4 years. That tenure expired in 2023. He sought the permission of the leadership of the party's stakeholders and the key people in the party for an extension. To enable the party prepare for the convention and other things, for the party to, be able to reorganize itself following the outcome of the 2023 election. Mm-hmm. And the leaders and the stakeholders graciously granted him that 1-year extension, which expired last year. The Labour Party has a constitution. And if you go to the constitution, and just like every other political party, if you want to do a convention, you start from ward congresses, from ward to local government, to states, to zonal, and now to the national convention. Ask Mr. Abure or whoever is part of this charade whether there was anything like ward, local government, or state congress or zonal congress of any kind. I don't think that Labour Party operates in isolation. As long as these guidelines are contained in your constitution, you are naturally under obligation to respect them. Mm-hmm. But that's not the issue. But the most important thing is that his tenure expired. Now, the Kangaroo Convention, if you remember, a lot of things transpired there. Even at the venue, at the time, that day of the convention, the so-called convention, even the constitution was altered just to suit his agenda. Now, because INEC had taken hold of the agreement, it was like a consent judgment that was entered into that led to the extension of his tenure by 1 year. Immediately it expired in 2024. INEC seeks to recognize Abure as the national chairman of the party. When Governor Alex Otti found out, laid hand on the document, because we have had a fantastic relationship with Abure. We stood by Abure, Abure stood by us. We can't deny that. And that is why, prior to last week, we had a friend from even responding to Abure. Even though he had attacked the governor, said all kinds of things shortly after the inauguration of the caretaker committee. So when Governor Alex Otti, it was brought to his attention by INEC that this man's tenure had expired and whatever he was doing with him amounted to illegality, Governor Alex Otti invited him. He came. Governor Alex Otti told him, look at the information I've gotten. Look at the facts I've laid hand on. He said there is nothing like that. The Governor Alex Otti presented the documents. He was speechless. He continued to argue. So Governor Alex Otti told him, I am not interested. I'm governor, so I'm not interested in becoming the national chairman of the party. I am not interested in imposing anyone. Let the leaders of the party decide who will be the national chairman. I would rather advise you, even if it's the BOT chairman, I can consult the leaders of the party so that we can cede that to you for peace to reign. And Governor Alex Otti was making these offers because it was very clear that the leaders of the party at all levels didn't want Abure again. Both TUC and NLC, people at all levels, the truth that they did not want Abure again because Abure's presence had become very controversial, had created the room for perpetual crisis. And in order to heal and start on a clean slate, that offer was made. Abure said no, he turned down the offer. And I said, because his tenure had expired, the leaders of the party, Governor Alex Otti is a member of NEC. The deputy governor is a member of NEC and some other leaders of the party. So it's not as if Governor Alex Otti was an intruder who had no business getting involved in the leadership of the party. And that was what led, as a member of NEC, Abure was the chairman of NEC, the National Executive Committee of Labour Party. And the fact that your tenure had expired, you now lacked the locus, you now lacked the grounds, the legitimacy to say you were convening any convention of any kind. That is, even if we decide to keep the issue of the violation of the guidelines as provided in the Constitution, leading to the conduct of the convention, the fact that your tenure had expired, you lost whatever legitimacy to say you were organizing a convention. So immediately, and of course, that was where Governor Alex Otti and others derived the authority to convene the caretaker committee to set, because they have the powers by the constitution of the party, I mean in the absence of Abure and the other people that their tenures had expired, to do what they did. So it's very simple. Now, don't forget, Abure was celebrating on the strength of, okay, maybe I will have to stop there for a follow-up question.
No, I want you, because you're taking me to that, to the appeal court ruling, because that seems to be the argument here. I have seen you and the legal advisor on his side, Mr. Abun, argue this appeal court. First, we saw them celebrate, saying that, look, now this judgment certifies that they still have the authentic leadership of the party, as opposed to the kangaroo meeting that you held, or your principal held.
Fantastic.
So again, help us to gain clarity, because they're holding on to it, you're holding on to it. Really, Nigerians are confused as to what exactly did the CTC say?
Okay, so the CTC challenged the judgment of the Court of Appeal don't forget that the High Court had ruled in favor of Abure. The Court of Appeal went further to uphold his position as the national chairman of the party. So the caretaker committee argued that Abure's tenure had expired and he was no longer the national chairman of Labour Party. INEC also had joined at the High Court in a counter affidavit, insisting that Abure was no longer the national chairman of the party. And the INEC, premised their arguments on the document they had, which was, of course, they were part of the signing of the agreements. So on the strength of the document, the facts, the information they had, they filed a counter affidavit. They swore under oath to say this man is no longer the national chairman. But Abure won at the High Court, won at the Court of Appeal, and went to the Supreme Court and lost. And I'm sure you saw where even the Supreme Court went further to say that leaders of political parties must respect the constitution of their party. When their tenure ends, they should move on. So that's the Supreme Court said we will not venture into the internal affairs of the party does not mean that they do not have the powers to put certain records straight. And that was what they did. For the fact that Abure celebrated the Federal High Court judgment, which upheld the illegality that we had established that existed, which Abure has not been able to provide any facts to counter. I just mentioned the fact that this man's tenure expired in 2023. He got an extension, which expired. Now you refused to leave. You refused to follow the constitutional provisions of the party, in seeking any further election and all the rest of them. Now, because that was challenging courts, okay, you won. And now we go to the Supreme Court, you lost. Meanwhile, you had celebrated the High Court and Appeal Court. Would Abure have rejected the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment if it favored him? So you can see that this thing doesn't make any sense. It's pure mischief. It's just personal agenda. That's what they are pursuing. They are not interested in building the party. After the 2023 election, has Labour Party won any election anywhere? So if they were sincere, I'm sure they would have been preoccupied with putting the necessary measures in place that would ensure, peace and stability in the party. Given the fact that these people who are appealing to you to exit had supported you, they stood by you. When you felt, I don't know whether to call it oppression or aggression, they stood by you. So is there anything that shows that the leaders of the party who are asking Abure to respect himself have any personal agenda? There is nothing to show.
Talking about that, he's accused you, your faction, the Peter Obi stroke Alex Otti faction, of betrayal. In fact, he has challenged you to come forth with evidence of all of the allegations that you've made against him. Please, I would like to crave your indulgence. Let me quickly play you a video clip. I hope that you can hear it when I play, but if you don't hear it, I will explain to you. I'll explain to you exactly what Mr. Abure said in that video, but he was challenging, of course, the Obi and Otti side. Yes. Take a listen.
From Peter Obi down that contested the election, let any of them come out and tell the world what they gave to me personally or to the party. When I met him in Transcorp, he was asking me, Chairman, what do I do for you? I say nothing. Put your money together and use it for election. I challenge him. If it's a lie, let him come out and say so. There are some people who are shockers to us. The people that we never believed will behave the way they are behaving to us. We lay down our lives for some of them. And I will say it openly. We rejected billions of naira. We rejected offers because of their position. But today, they are in the forefront of those that want to throw us out of office. And I want to challenge them. I was watching television. I heard some of them talk about corruption. Today, I want to challenge all of them, from Peter Obi down, that contested the election, let any of them come out and tell the world what they gave to me personally or to the party. It's not to go and hide and be saying there is corruption in the party. Who are those that brought the money? Who did they give it to? Where did they send it to? I challenge them today that any of them that has evidence, even if they don't have evidence, let them be bold and come out and say where and how they gave the money.
Okay, that's Julius Abure there speaking on this issue. Mr. Ekeoma, I'm bringing you back now because he's challenging you. He's challenging Peter Obi. He's challenging. He said, all of you who have been making allegations, bring your evidence. He said they laid down their lives for you. They rejected billions of naira. In fact, literally, he feels betrayed by your camp. What are your remarks on, in response to that?
Okay, so I think Mr. Abure is actually the one that is betraying the Labour Party. He's actually the one that is betraying progressives. He's actually the one that is betraying Nigerians. Okay? We know a lot of funny things that have happened. And at the appropriate time, we'll be able to prove that the man has, for personal reasons at this point, you may have at the early stage of the struggle, knowing where Nigerians were, given the tempo and everything, it's not as if he had been supported massively financially. That is the truth. I'm not talking about bribe here. I'm talking about support. And of course, it wasn't a crime if he was supported. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't a favor. It was in order to support the national chairman and the party. It's the right thing to do. But we are saying we have evidence of compromise, left, right, and center at the moment. Okay? Funny things are happening.
When is the appropriate time that you're going to bring this evidence? Because he's challenging you right now.
If you mean well for the party, let me tell you, there are many ways people compromise. All these things that he's boasting, show evidence. We're just laughing. He thinks he's dealing with kids. Okay? He thinks he's dealing with kids. If you mean well for the party, you know that if the leaders, the creme de la creme of the party leave, that the Labour Party will not even win councillorship seat. He knows that. In Abia, for example, my sister, and you can run your own independent investigation, Labour Party had no office here. They had no office here. So he was just behaving as if Labour Party was everywhere before Alex Otti and others joined the party. No. So what is Labour Party? It's just a nomenclature. What is Labour Party without people that matter? Without those who have the credibility and the capacity to win elections? So if you mean well, if the man actually meant well for the party, he would have stopped what he's doing. He would have realized that given his disposition, that the leaders of the party would definitely not have anything to do with the party. And like I said, after the 2023 election, Labour Party had taken part in several elections. They didn't win anything. It was only in Abia that the Labour Party won the governorship election. And let me tell you, my sister, for example, we had this experience.
I'm so sorry. I want to go on a quick break, sir. When we come back, please hold that thought. You will tell us that experience when we come back. We're still talking with the SA to the governor of Abia State on media and publicity on the Labour Party crisis. We'll be right back after these messages.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
Everyone says I'm beautiful and bold. They say I'm fashionable. And to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
People say I'm good looking, funny, hardworking, and... Crowned up, very confident. And my secret is...
So whether in the office or at home,
in the streets or on the dance floor,
anytime, any day, I never lose my confidence. And the secret to my confidence is Wazobia perfume.
Absolutely. Wazobia perfume gives the authenticity and long-lasting fragrance all day. That's my secret confidence.
Wazobia perfume is available in body spray.
Also available in supermarkets and markets near you. Wazobia perfume, the correct scent.
Hello, Mrs. Martins.
Yes. Oh, Mrs. Johnson, how may I help you?
Junior's body temperature is high, and he's complaining about headaches and body aches.
Not to worry. Get Bruston and suspension.
Okay, ma. I'll call you back.
Bruston and Suspension for Children is a sweet-tasting brand of ibuprofen which provides relief against toothache, pains, and fever in children after 30 minutes.
Hello, ma. Oh, Junior, stop that.
Is everything okay, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, ma. Junior is fine now. In fact, Junior, sorry, ma. I'll call you back.
Brustin and Suspension for Children. Always take the product after meal. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor. A quality product from Rambaxay.
What can your bank do for you?
Meet Jane, 25 years old. She's been having troubles acquiring a loan from her bank.
This is not okay at all. I've been on this queue forever, and you're saying I should fill another form. What's going on?
What can your bank do for you?
Meet Frank, 27 years old, held up in traffic and making fruitless transactions.
Mama, I have saved the airtime, even the electricity charges. I don't know why it's so difficult making this payment.
Introducing Safri, a lifestyle digital bank that's designed just for you. With one click, you can make easy and fast payment transactions, pay bills, and even acquire easy loans. Hurry and download the Safri app on your Play Store. Visit safrisafri.com for more information. Safri, borderless banking.
Every day when my children return from school, I don't recognize them. Hello, do I know you?
It's us, mommy.
But these dirty, sweaty uniforms and socks, we're clean in the morning. Everything don't transform. I understand though, school is hectic. It takes energy to come home this transformed. So I make sure they have some nutritious Milo at breakfast.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo. When it comes to winning, I get power plenty.
The power to win bigger than your hand with BetKing Bet Builder. Download BetKing app. Register with promo code FreeBets. Make you enjoy 100 Naira instant bonus. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18 years. Play responsibly.
Well, you asked for it.
And New Central has delivered.
Now you've got it.
Yes, New Central is live on GoTV Channel 23. Get the latest news and headlines from Nigeria and across the world. With GoTV, News Central gives you major stories and breaking news on politics, business, sports, and entertainment. You asked for it. And now, you've got it. News Central on GoTV Channel 23.
No be party jollof this same.
I beg, make nothing hungry you again today.
Now you're pregnant every day, follow talk so.
Neighbor, I
beg, neighbor, just one spoon.
No wahala.
Chef, what will be your secret?
Now, Mr. Chef Seasoning Powder. Mr. Chef Seasoning Powder. Get spicy stew, goat meat, fried rice, and roasted beef from great aroma to great taste.
Elevate every meal with Mr. Chef Seasoning Powder. Chef.
Oh, what did it happen now? No bonus for all my lines.
No panic, as MTN don't carry better gist come. Every 6 minutes you talk, MTN go dash you 3 extra minutes. Fiam to enter MTN better gist. Dial *123 *2 *1 hash or text BG to 312. T and C's apply.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire. Their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns, and it's full of fire. Fan Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with Gloriana and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more.
Fan Battle 4 starts Tuesday, June 3rd through July from 7 p.m. weekdays on Nigeria Info.
Fan Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts on Nigeria Info 99.3 FM. My name is Shegwa Rinze.
We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. This is Hard Facts. And I'm Maryann Okon. We're still talking with the special advisor to the governor of Abia State on media and publicity about the infighting within the Labour Party and, of course, what this means for the future of the party come 2027. You can join the conversation and tell us what your thoughts are. We're also on WhatsApp, but you can join the conversation 08095975805, or better still, you can drop your comments on our live stream on YouTube and on Facebook. It's Nigeria Info FM. Mr. Ekeoma, before we went on that break, you were trying to give us an experience that you had in the party. Yes.
Yes, not actually with the Labour Party. Okay, I was explaining the situation on ground.
Yes. Which
is verifiable. But this is not to disrespect the party that gave us the platform to run, this election, which we won. And but the election was won by Abia people. And we've always given credit to God and Abia people. They made it possible. And of course, that wasn't the first time we've been winning election in Abia. We had done that in the past, even though through brigandage and violence, and our mandate was stolen. So, but Nigerians have a way, some persons in the party politics have a way of being very impatient. There is nothing you want to gain in the Labour Party that you cannot get if the party becomes very strong, becomes very formidable, and have elected officials at all levels. And of course, the most important thing is good governance. Like I said, the party didn't have an office. Okay? The place that served and still serves as Labour Party office was the one we paid for in 2014. Governor Alex Otti paid for in 2014. And it has been functional between 2014 and today. Even when he left Abga, he returned to the place. So when we joined, of course, Labour Party didn't have any office. We handed that office to them. Ward and local government offices were paid for. So it's not as if Abure and Co. had built any political party that was known or that was achieving anything or was doing well or was prepared and ready to win any election. So he shouldn't forget that human beings made that popularity, created through their goodwill, through their name, through their reputation, made everything about Labour Party possible. In Abia here, like I was saying, we had an experience when we were in Abga, okay? So immediately after our mandate was stolen, which was known to Nigerians, some persons connived with the government in our party, connived with the government in power, started sabotaging us until we got angry and left the party. And now there was election in 2023. They couldn't win anything. So sometimes it's not about party. It's about the people behind the party. It's about the individuals contesting. It's about their capacity. It's about the goodwill they have. And Abians showed that in 2023. And tomorrow, if we decide to walk away from Labour Party, we will replicate what we did in 2023. And I'm telling you facts. You can come here and ask questions. You can put call across. They will tell you how on ground we are, how popular we are here. So it's not about Labour Party. We can run with any political party and win convincingly.
I will take you up on that.
Abure and Co. It's Abure and Co. who think that without Labour Party we can't exist. Nobody will patronize Labour Party. Nobody will run on the platform of Labour Party once the people that matter in the party leave. And it's better they think through that now and know what they're doing.
Talking about the party, there have been accusations against your governor and several other people of anti-party activities. In fact, Abure considered expelling the governor. In fact, he has said that the governor is expelled from the party over alleged anti-party activities. Now, what is the Alex Otti-led faction's perspective on these allegations? And how do you plan to address the internal disciplinary matters? Because on the one hand, your boss is saying the IGP should arrest Abure. Abure is saying, well, you're no longer a member of my party. What exactly? Because again, you've made a case here that, it's the people that have made up the party. It's your followers. What exactly should your followers believe? Don't forget, Nigerians, a lot of young Nigerians supported you in 2023. What message are you passing to those people right now?
Okay, in Abia here, let me just talk from the Abia perspective. The position of Abians is that wherever Alex Otti goes, that is where they will go. That Alex Otti is a political party. And they had shown that in the past. So we are unperturbed. We are not worried. However, if you're talking about anti-party, and I think the people who are indulging in anti-party are those who think themselves first, who are not thinking the future of the party. who are not thinking the progress and success of the party. And that's why I said election, including Abure's home state, Edo, election has taken place. What did he do? What level of mobilization did he do? What were the success stories that he can boast of? So if you are saying, I even overheard that he said that they met Governor Alex Otti, who was Alex Otti before now. So you could see that the whole thing has gone to a level of comedy. Asking who Alex Otti is. Maybe he needs to Google to know who Alex Otti is. So it's ridiculous. We are calling Abure to order, and our request, our appeal to both INEC and the police was on the strength of the judgment of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. And the fact that the Supreme Court has ruled and invalidated the judgments of a High Court and Court of Appeal, Abure is under obligation to respect that. And our call to INEC was also, INEC is under obligation to do the needful. Because like I did explain earlier, INEC had filed a counter affidavit where they affirmed that Abure's tenure had expired, and the Supreme Court agreed with INEC and agreed with us. It's a very simple thing. We are not resorting to self-help. We didn't make any threats, okay, on Abure. We did not say we are going to fight Abure. No, we are calling on legitimate authorities, and that's very much in order. That's how people who want peace, behave. We're just saying, respect the judgment of the Supreme Court. And if the man continues to impersonate the Labour Party, the police should come in, because the police is a law enforcement agency, and they're under obligation on the strength of the judgment of the Supreme Court also act. That's what we are saying.
Okay.
The man that is talking about anti-party or that expulsion and all those things, he's demeaning, he's insulting. They think they just want to use Alex Otti's name and others to shine. Okay, we've even heard them say that they will not go into any merger, as if we talked about merger. And we know why they are saying all this thing. They are being smart by half. They are playing mind politics, even calling on the president to call Governor Alex Otti to order. Because Alex Otti called on INEC and the police to do the needful. So you're calling on the president. You know what they want to do? They want to appear to be in alliance with the APC. They want to be seen to be patronizing the APC. Because even talking about a merger, as if we talked about merger.
Why would Labour Party want to be patronizing the APC?
No, that's not Labour Party again. Abure and his allies. Okay, so when you hear those utterances, you will know where they are going to. They feel by saying all those things will look good in the eyes of the the ruling party, knowing what is playing out in the country. So we understand all those tricks. Okay, that says a lot about what we are talking about. So we are not perturbed, like I said, we are not perturbed at all. Whatever happens, we are very strong and well positioned. So, continue to serve in that.
Before I bring callers in, because a lot of people have comments and questions for you, talking about the future of the Labour Party, because that's, again, worries a lot more people. The people who think that the Labour Party has deteriorated, it cannot be put back together like Humpty Dumpty. There are those who are saying that, what are you doing? What is Alex Otti, who is the only person as a governor who has been, voted into power on the platform of the Labour Party? I mean, you do have some members in the National Assembly. I think one or two have moved. But what is he doing to save the future of the Labour Party? What steps is he taking to unify the Labour Party, if in any way you can prepare for the 2027 elections? Can you hear me?
Okay, well, I think you were asking that there was a glitch there anyway.
Oh, yes. So the question is, what is the governor doing? Yes, what's the governor doing to unify the party? If you will be able to stand for elections in 2027, what is he doing to unify the party? Because it looks like it's something that you might not be able to put together again.
Okay, so that was actually why Governor Alex Otti and others took the decision they took last year. We could have continued to pretend that everything was right. Like Governor Alex Otti said, we have nothing against Abure, okay? But if people are your friends, you must tell them the truth. Abure hates the bitter truth that he was told. He didn't see it coming, because when he talks about betrayal, you ask yourself, what did we do to him? You signed, have you denied that you signed an agreement, that you got a 1-year extension? Have you denied that? That you got a 1-year extension? Have you denied the fact that you signed an agreement? Why is he not discussing that aspect? And you turned around to violate it. Why do you want to impose yourself against the will of the majority of the party? How do you expect a political party to succeed? Okay, if one is a kind of 10 against 90, when you operate that way, it doesn't make any sense. So what Governor Lesotho did last year, like I said, was first to call Abude, invite Abude. Abude came. They sat down. He brought up this issue and had a gentlemanly discussion. And then the interest, the essence of what Governor Lesotho did was also to solve the problem on time and begin that process of unification. That was what he did. And if we hadn't started it then, maybe we will be starting now, or by now we will be talking about another thing. So the problem had lingered. We tried to manage it maturely. But because Abude felt the man who has been standing by me is no longer standing by me, let me go all out and abuse and insult him and say all kinds of things, because he started abusing the governor shortly after the inauguration of the caretaker committee. So what Governor Lesotho is doing, to answer your question, to ensure unity, and the reorganization of the party are just the measures we have taken. We hope that the measures work by the special grace of God. We are following up with the judgment of the Supreme Court. That's just the process. That's what we are doing. Okay. So there's no other thing anybody can do. But then it's important to say that we are not worried at all. You can only be worried if your people are against you, if you are unpopular, if you are not on ground, if you're hoping on anybody to rig election for you to win. That is where you'll be worried. But when you know that you have the support of the people and that people are willing to support you wherever you go, we're not bothered.
All right, I want to bring Lagos into this conversation. If you're listening to us from outside of the country, you can be part of the conversation by calling on WhatsApp 08095975 You're watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. Post your comments on our live stream. For the ladies, you can call 0201 465 7190. For the gentlemen, 0201 277 0993. 60 seconds, go straight to the point. We have very limited time. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good evening, Maryann.
Good evening.
This is Pastor Ladigo.
Go ahead.
I want to ask the man this question because it looks as if the judgment of that Supreme Court looks ambiguous. The reason is because they didn't spell it out outrightly. Maybe I'm the one making the mistake. I don't think they spelled it out outrightly that Abude has ceased to be the chairman, or that the party, they should respect the party constitution by removing him. That is the question I want to ask. Thank you.
All right, Pastor Ladipo, thank you very much for calling. Mr. Ekeoma, he's asking a question that it looks like the court judgment was not necessarily clear as to whether factually Abude had been removed as the chairman of the party.
Well, you know that the Supreme Court wanted to be very careful because there had been precedents, okay? They had set precedents in previous judgments where they talked about internal affairs of the party, how nobody has, the court doesn't have the powers to declare anybody chairman or say this person is not the chairman, okay? But now the Supreme Court upheld the appeal filed by the CTC led by Senator Nenadi Usman. And there were prayers, and those prayers were granted. And Abude's counter appeal was dismissed because the suit challenged the legitimacy of his chairmanship. And the Supreme Court agreed with us. And like I did say, I understand what the senior man that called here, was talking about, because there appears to be some level of ambiguity there, with the judgment, because there was no consequential order. Growing up, we were used to Supreme Court giving landmark judgments that usually came with consequential orders, and those things have a way. Those consequential orders have a way of clearing all forms of ambiguity. So that's actually the issue, because the Supreme Court has said no court can interfere, get involved in the internal affairs of the party. But what we are saying here, that there are documents. The issues are straight. The man's tenure expired. The man sought extension, which was granted, and he signed. And his tenure expired. He refused to leave. And they said they did a convention. By all standards, whatever they claimed to have done was illegal. All the things they claimed were all illegal. Because I did tell you here that if you are doing a convention, there are processes laid down in the constitution of the party. You didn't do that. And again, INEC, there was another argument they were making that INEC did not supervise the so-called convention, did not invalidate it. But that is to an extent where you had properly communicated INEC as provided in the Electoral Act. Okay? There are a certain number of time or days you are expected to communicate to INEC. What did they do? First, they fixed Abia as the venue for the convention. They communicated INEC. INEC sent people down to Abia. They moved it after INEC officials had arrived at Abia. They moved it to Asaba. INEC sent people to Asaba. I think within 24 hours, they now moved it to Nnewi, where it finally held. So by that, you had already violated the guidelines set by INEC. You were like trying to trick INEC because you knew you were going to indulge in illegality. Of course, INEC stayed away when it was obvious that you have failed to do the needful, when it was obvious that you were not interested in doing anything. They know all this, but they're dodging all these aspects. And I had challenged them with all this. They've not responded to them.
All right.
So there was no convention. Abure is not the national chairman of the party. If it were, I don't know. Of course, ours is a Senate climb. Let me not say if it were in a Senate climb. We are in a Senate climb.
Okay.
But I don't expect anybody to be so disrespectful to the highest court we have in the land.
Let's take some more calls. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Joy.
Hello, Joy. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so the gentleman speaking with you, I don't know if he knows that Labour Party is an SPV, right? And it's quite unfortunate that all the parties we have in Nigeria has been infiltrated, and it's really, really alarming. It's not helping our democracy. Now, I want him to know, because if the Supreme Court judgment is explicit as it's claiming, so why is there this sort of lacuna? Why are they still feeling like they are still supposed to be the legitimate chairman, right? Now, I don't know if you're also aware of the narrative the APC people are bringing, saying that if Peter Obi cannot organize his party, that means he is not fit to rule a nation, right? So this is the kind of narrative you have a problem. So if you look at they are also saying Peter cannot rule, he cannot bring the party together and stress you as the party. So the reason why they're there. So if I need others to be saying that we are still parading themselves.
All right. Thank you, Joy. I have to let you go because of time. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
I greet your guest, Governor Otti. Well,
thank you, sir.
I want to ask. Yeah, well done, sir. I want to ask, is Peter Obi still the presidential candidate for Labour Party come 2027? Again, who is the current chairman of Labour Party right now? These two questions, I'm just tuning on now, please. I want to understand, because where Peter Obi is, that's where I will be.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I need to take another call. Mr. Ekeoma, just hold on to that thought. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to your guest, sir.
Yes.
I want to ask your guest, Labour Party, are they owing Mr. Abure money, like anything, like property, or they're promising that this is what they will give to him after the 2023 election, and they refuse to give to him? That makes him to refuse to come down. Because it's like that, maybe it's like that they have agreement before the 2023 election. Maybe that part, the agreement now, they refuse to fulfill their own part. That's why it's challenging that if anybody give him money, they should come out. So if there's anything that owing him, let him pay him so that he will go, so that the party will come again, so that all those inside crises will not be there, because other parties are using this thing now to work against Labour Party.
All right.
So I want to tell them they should go and ask him, call him to us. If there's anything he wants, let him pay him off, so that they will pay Labour Party.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Ekeoma, you can answer all the questions together. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. My sister that spoke captured it, very well. Called the system called what is playing out. They want to give their impression, that you can house because not a
question. Been quite asked. The people are saying that was this crisis.
A ridiculous question because P2B is a human being. Okay, he can't resort to self-help. We just told you what the party did, which is to toe the path of law. Approach the court, they did that, and the Supreme Court has given a judgment. Abure is incumbent, is under obligation to respect the judgment. But if anybody refuses to respect the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, it's not P2B that you're doing. We are setting dangerous precedents. It's the country that is losing. Okay? When a nation cannot respect its own laws, when a nation cannot respect its own Supreme Court, something is wrong. So she captured it very well. She clearly, understood what is playing on. But that's by the way anyway. Then the senior man also there that called, talked about whether P2B is the presidential candidate. P2B remains the leader of the party. He's still our leader. Of course, you can only become the candidate after primaries must have been conducted. Mm-hmm. First, you will be an aspirant. From there, you become a candidate. So there is no, we've not gotten to that point, but P2B remains the leader of the party.
All right.
So, and again, he asked about also who the national chairman. That is the issue that is in contention. Okay, by
course.
now
he will go. Let me save you the trouble. He will go back and watch the video and understand the conversation that we've had because he was just joining us.
Yes. So the party should be at the point of conducting convention. The convention. If Abure wanted to do the right thing, what he would have done was to submit himself to the processes.
Yeah.
Okay. The people will choose him. It's a very simple thing.
We have to go.
You are popular. You are on ground. You have everybody. You have everything. It's okay. Bring yourself forward.
We have to go.
Free and fair. If Abure was challenging a controversial convention or whatever, it will make sense.
We have to go. We have to go, Mr. Ekeoma. We have to go. Unfortunately, I have just 10 seconds. Ferdinand Ekeoma is.
There was no agreement with Abure that he shouldn't leave.
Ferdinand Ekeoma is the special advisor on media and publicity to Governor Alex Otti of Abia State. Thank you so much, Mr. Ekeoma, for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you, my sister, for having me.
All right, thank you, Lagos. I've got to go. Thank you all for being part of the conversation. See you tomorrow on Hard Facts.
Hey, Lagos. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's